What up, though? Welcome to Tamara to the Break of Dawn, the show where you'll literally ride my train of thought as I discuss the different types of challenges and struggles that we all can relate to. I'm your host, Tamara Dawn, and I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. Now, you already know the struggle could be way too real sometimes. So my hope is that these shows will challenge and inspire you as I basically share the areas that I'm trying to grow in. So let's get it. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock, yes. Alright, happy day after Christmas. I hope y'all had a super dope Christmas. I hope you got to spend time with your family, eating, laughing, reminiscing, just enjoying each other's company. It's December 26th, and a chick like me does have to work today, but I chose to take off the 23rd and the 24th, so I did get an extended weekend, which was great to just not have to work. If nothing else, it was just great to not have to work. And so the first thing that I'm going to talk about today, let's just get into it, is a few episodes ago, I lied to y'all. And I don't make it a point to lie. At the time, it wasn't a lie, though, in my defense. At that time, it was true to me. But as I've kind of continued to just reflect, because that's just the season I'm in right now, where I'm just, maybe it's because I don't really talk to many people outside of work. I just kind of have a lot of time to think or whatever. But I realized I lied. And what I had said was that when it comes to telling people how I feel as far as, oh, you did this, that I don't like or whatever, and I'm trying to think what episode it was in. I don't remember, but whatever. I was saying that I have no problem with telling people if they not upset, but offend me or whatever. I'll tell yo mama, yo daddy, yo grandmama, my mama, all mamas and all that. I drug it out. And I thought that was the truth. That's why I said it, because I don't make it a point to be out here just telling lies and trying to be somebody I'm not. I'm pretty self-aware, and I'm, But what I realized is that I should have put a disclaimer with that, because that is true when the behavior that the person is displaying towards me is toxic or unhealthy. So if I've established a boundary, I do, in most cases, I do not like when someone tries to force me to do something that I don't want to do. Don't get me wrong, maybe it's for my best or whatever, and you're trying to encourage me, but stuff that is something that shouldn't even matter to you, and you're trying to force me to do something, it feels gross to me when people do that, because it just feels like I've established this boundary. Why are you trying to cross it? So when it's stuff like that, or if somebody's trying to manipulate me or whatever, stuff like that, I'll call out and I'll speak out on. But when it's other stuff that's it's not toxic, but maybe it's something that I don't like for whatever reason, I don't tell people that, and I just kind of deal with stuff. And how I realize this is two things kind of happen around the same time. Is first, there's somebody who I have a relationship with, who what I notice about this person is when we converse, they don't really listen to understand where I'm coming from. They don't even necessarily fully listen to what I'm saying, and they don't listen to understand how I'm feeling. They more so listen to just hurry up and have a response. Conversations with them feel very rushed. And for someone like me, who's an external processor, who a lot of times I discover how I feel about something by talking it out, it's just, I don't know, it kind of makes me feel like I walk away from interactions with them feeling like you don't value how I feel. So if you don't value how I feel, instead of me telling you that, I'm just really not going to talk to you about anything that actually matters. I'm not, because it's just who you are as a person. They're not just like that with me. This is just how they are as a person. So it's kind of like, that's just how you are. So I'm not going to, rock the boat by, I don't know, communicating what I need out of our interactions. So that's one thing. The other piece is I don't like being ignored. And I'm not even going to say it's necessarily somebody's intentionally ignoring me. Like, I'll use my mom as an example. If I call my mom or text my mom and my mom doesn't answer, I'm going to feel some type of way. But not only am I going to feel some type of way, I'm about to call her multiple times. And then not only am I going to call her multiple times and text her multiple times and be like, where are you? Why aren't you answering? Whatever. Sometimes I'll call or text my siblings or my sister-in-law to see if they've talked to her, depending on whatever. I remember after my niece's game, that was for real, for real. And then I will make a status on Facebook and tag her. And also, there have been times when I've had my kids call her, because how dare you not answer the phone when your firstborn, you were just a regular person before I graced your life with my presence. And then when I came along, you became a mom. You know what I mean? You were not a mom before me, and you could have just stayed my mom. You didn't have to have no other kids, but that was what you chose to do, so it's whatever. I could have been only child, but that wasn't, the plan for my life or whatever. So if my kids don't answer when I call, which for the most part, they pretty much always respond, especially my son. He could be at work and he'll respond. But I remember one time I called my daughter, and I don't even remember what I wanted. Now, mind you, my son is 20, but the rest of them are 16 and 17, so they ain't grown. And she gonna have the audacity when I called her to text me back. She did not answer the phone, y'all. She texted me back and was like, I'm on the other line. First of all, I will disconnect your whole phone that I paid for right now. Keep playing with me. And that's exactly what I said to her, because she really had me messed. Like, whew, the nerve of that child. But, however, outside of them and maybe my dad who raised me, in case you listened to the other one where I talked about my bio dad, outside of them, and even with him, I feel like I don't go in like I go in with my mom. Outside of that, if I don't like that you didn't respond, I'm probably not going to say anything. And I could be feeling like butthurt, especially if we're like in the middle of a conversation and you just stop responding. I'm going to feel some type of way, but I'm not going to say anything. And so, once I started thinking about these two situations where I seem to struggle with communicating what I need, I realize that I'm not as free I'm not as free as I think I am. I'm not as open. I'm not as good of a communicator as I think I am or thought I was. And how this came about is because of those situations, because they happened like right around the same time. But then also we did this training at work, and we got in little small groups, and each of us had to share something that we're working on. Everybody had just different types of things, but mine was being more vulnerable and open in my relationships, because I realized there's so much I think, like somebody could tell me something and I'll want to know more and I won't ask, and I don't know why I'm like that. I've been really trying to figure out, have I always been like this, or did I just get like this? And I don't really know the answer to that, but it's something I just wonder because I'm very, I don't want to say shy because I'm not shy. I'm just very guarded with letting people know how I feel about them as far as like the value they hold in my life. Um, or I'm also, I realize that I rationalize people's choices and their decisions and their actions. So kind of like the first situation where that's just how this person is with everyone. They're not just like that with me. So I just rationalize it like, oh, well, that's just how they are. And that's very toxic because honestly, if that behavior is not helpful for the betterment of our relationship and they don't know and they think everything is all cool, I'm really doing them a disservice by not telling them, you know? And then, furthermore, if I'm not free enough to do that and I'm rationalizing why they do it, I'm not taking my own feelings into consideration. So it's like, I'm sorry I lied to y'all when I said I have no problem doing that. And man, relationships are hard. Like, it is not, it's just so hard because we're all different people who have had different experiences that have shaped us and made us who they want to be. But after this thing at my job, one of my coworkers, which she's actually one of the supervisors, she was kind of talking to me and she was just like kind of a little bit talking to me about like valuing relationships. And honestly, that's really what it is. I see when I communicate my needs and be true to who I am, because I have a friend who will thank me for being me, and they actually gave me this card that says that, which is in my studio because it's a long story, but it came at a point when this was I was just starting all this and trying to figure out what it wanted to look like, what I wanted it to look like, and just all these things, and I was struggling, and then this card came, so I have it here as a reminder to just be me. Don't try to be anybody else. That's why I don't edit anything out. If I mess up on my words, or if there's some random sound like the hangers or whatever, or if I need to take a drink, it's just, this is who I am. But what I realize about that statement of thank you for being you is, does this person really experience me? Or does this person really experience the like watered down version of me because I'm not really free to be me? And it's not about being, I don't even know, is it that I'm not secure in myself? I don't think that's what it is, but maybe it could be. I don't have all the answers. I just kind of talk this thing through and let y'all be a part of my journey, because some of y'all might be able to relate to that. My kids for sure get the Ross version of me and my mom, but there's not very many people who really fully know me. There's not very many people who really I just feel like people put me in boxes, which is a great segue to the other part of this. All kind of happened at the same time. That's kind of why I wanted to talk about two separate topics all at once. The other piece is I like to say well-rounded. I'm very Like, I love the Lord. I really do. I really try to live a life to the best of my ability that I hopefully is pleasing to him. Try to be loving and caring and try to make a positive impact in the world, because I feel like the world has enough foolishness without me adding to it. But I'm also very petty, and I have a very insane sense of humor. Not everybody gets to see that because it's insane, but I'm super random. So I'm the person who, if we're in a conversation and something you say makes me think of a song, I'm about to bust out singing it. And I'll do it at work, and I'll do it wherever, because it's just who I am. But I also love to laugh, as you know, but I also love to have deep conversations and have just, I feel like, a depth to me, the way I think about things, the way I view the world or whatever. And so that's just to name the things I could think of off the top of my head or whatever. So I hate with all my heart and soul, I hate when I feel like people have put me into this box of, oh, you're only funny, or oh, you're only this, or you're supposed to be this, or I thought you were this. That irritates me. And if I wasn't self-aware, and if I didn't know who I was, it would be so easy to be swayed to and fro and get caught up in being shoved in this box of whoever thinks I am. And I had a situation where I behaved a certain way, and first of all, I was joking. That's the first thing. But then they try to say, oh, you're supposed to be this, kind of like, what are you doing? First of all, if you don't understand that I say a lot of crazy stuff just for shock value because I think it's funny, then you haven't really had conversation with me. Like, I would never intentionally disrespect any of my friends, family, really anybody. I just feel like you can even disagree without all that. But I'll say some wild stuff just because it's funny. I don't know, that's just me. So it's kind of like, if you don't understand that about me, then you don't really know me. And if you don't really know me and you think I'm only a certain kind of way, then you really shouldn't be speaking on how you feel like I'm supposed to be or whatever. And that irritates me because that happens a lot. And I think the biggest way that has happened, or I should say, the area that's happened the most, is the humor piece. Because I love to laugh, and so I always try to make, that's kind of like a coping mechanism for me, honestly. It's been a way that I have been able to endure some of the hardship that I've had to walk through, is by having just a crazy sense of humor to find something to laugh at or whatever. I'll make fun of myself. If somebody pokes fun at me and they're not being like disrespectful, they're making jokes, I don't get butthurt about it, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like I often get just shoved into that box, you know? And so then when I display another side of me where I'm serious, and here's the crazy thing though with the whole humor piece, is I never try to be funny. I really don't. Really, I'm just a lot of times serious about whatever I'm saying, but I think people are shocked that I would just say something like just so bluntly. A lot of times I'm telling the truth too. Like, me and my coworkers, a few of them, you know, I'll say whatever and they'll kind of be like, oh, you tripping, but whatever. And then I'll always ask, but am I lying though? Because a lot of times I am just telling the truth, and I don't know, people think it's funny. So really, y'all just trash is the thing. Like, no, I'm just kidding. But that's the box I often get placed into. That and petty, because it goes side by side. So then when I display another side of me of being loving and caring or whatever, or even just some of the deep conversations I really do like to have, it's like this, oh, look at you trying to be all, no, I'm not trying to be anything, like, this is who I am, you know what I mean? And a lot of times I'll act accordingly, where if all you want is jokes and memes and, you know, shallow interactions, then that's what I'll give you, and it just is what it is. But I just feel like you should get to know me, and really we should, that goes for everybody, not just me. That is a big pet peeve of mine, though, when I feel like people are trying to put me in a box. But I feel like we should allow people to evolve. Like, another thing that irritates me is people who have known me for a long time, when they see me, basically I'm growing, like, it'd be a for real shame if how I was as a teenager is still how I am as an almost 40-year-old woman. Like, what? Being stagnant is not something that is ever, like, I'm always trying to develop and grow in areas that, you know, I see that I'm lacking in. Like, that's just how I am. I don't know if you're familiar with Gallup Strength Finder strengths. Look it up if you know, don't know what I'm talking about. But I'm going to give you a short, you know, description. Is basically, we all have strengths. All of us. All of you have strengths. I don't care if you are a criminal. You have strengths. You're just using them for illegal purposes. You know what I mean? No matter who you are, we all have different strengths. And basically, it's just this little assessment. And it's one of the only, it's not really a personality assessment, but it's one of the only, like, assessments that I kind of like. I'm not really, even though I have a degree in psychology, I'm not really a fan of all the other assessments and tests I had to take in school, just because I feel like they try to put you in this box. Whereas what I love about the Gallup Strength Finder is it really just celebrates who you are and how you are, and it allows for, it focuses on your top 5, at least at the job that we, you know, took the test at. But your top 10, it could fluctuate, you know what I mean? And it's just basically giving words to describe who you are. Developer is one of my top 5. And I've taken the test like 3 different times for different jobs, and different ones have fluctuated in and out, so I kind of got an idea of my top 10. Developer, stays in the top 5. Top 5, dang. So, basically, what that's saying is, kind of like I was saying, I like to celebrate growth, and, you know, I celebrate milestones, but also it's all about just growing and evolving and becoming better. And so I don't know, I never really arrive anywhere. I like to have little goals that I'm working towards or whatever. And so being a developer, I'm someone who's always trying, but I don't think that's because I'm a developer, because really we should always be trying to grow and evolve. And that's the whole point of all this, is that who I was, it's 2019, who I was a year ago is not the same person I am now. So for sure, who I was 5 years ago, for sure. Because a lot of the more intense traumatic things kind of happened in the last 4 years. So then if I'm not who I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, how am I be who I was in high school? I'm not. There are going to be some character traits that are similar, but I'm a grown woman now, and life has shaped me. And so the other thing that kind of, trips me out, is that what I want to say? Well, that's what I'm going to go with, because it is what it is. is like, oh, I'm so proud of you because I remember you used to be like this. And like, yes, celebrate my growth. That's, I mean, whatever. But at the same time, it's like, bruh, I'm 39 years old. I'm not going to be who I was in high school. And if you thought that, I don't know what to tell you, because all of us should be growing. We should all be evolving. And you should be around the people who allow for that. Don't let people keep you in this box of who they feel like you should be based on your experiences. And when I have people who are like that, like, I'm super just, I get bored with things easily, but kind of, or I don't know. So it's kind of like consistency is really a struggle for me. So even with, like, I remember somebody, one of my coworkers was newer, and I used to just like poke fun at him. I don't even know why. It was excitement and fun for however long I did it. And then I stopped because it wasn't fun anymore. I'm not going to say it was boring, but it's like the same thing is not going to just continue to keep me entertained. That's the word I'm looking for. And he said something about it, and I was just kind of like, oh, I'm not on that no more. And that's really how I am. And so then when people try to keep me in whatever, it just thoroughly irritates me. However, because I am self-aware, because I am secure in myself and who I am, and I'm to degrees, because there's levels to this, but I'm free to be me. I don't trip off of it, as far as I don't allow it to have me questioning who I am. Hold on, pause. Okay. I don't let it question, I don't allow it to cause me to question who I am, but it irritates me, because it's like, just let me live like who I am. If I'm not trying to harm you, if I'm not coming for you, if I'm not like bothering you, like, why are you worried about me? Why are you worried about, especially if I don't know you like that? Because where the comment that came from, it's not somebody I really know that well that was like, you're supposed to be. How you gonna tell me do you know who you're supposed to be? Because that's really what you should be worried about, not who I'm supposed to be, especially when I wasn't even talking to this person. Like, that's the thing. So, I don't know. People irritate me, but did I say any of that to this person? Nah. You know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm realizing in certain scenarios, and there may be some wisdom, like, that probably wasn't something I necessarily needed to drag it out and make a big deal out of. But the situation where interacting with somebody who doesn't listen to really understand where I'm coming from, understand what I'm feeling, understand me, that's something that, I probably should speak on. And that happens a lot. And I am very much the kind of person that if you even remotely, like, if I take that risk, because it is such a risk to be vulnerable and share part of you with someone, like, oh, I'm hurt by this or whatever. If I take that risk and you even remotely make me feel like you are not worried about how I feel, you will probably never know. That's why I'm saying I need to grow in this. But you will probably never know, but I will completely shut down to you emotionally. And that's not healthy. Or is it? I don't know. You know what I mean? What I do know is that this whole mindset of, oh, that's just how I am, that's not an excuse. And I'll say that probably a lot of times throughout this journey, because I hear that a lot and I see that a lot on like social media posts and stuff, and it's like, that's not healthy. That's like how I am. That's how I am, I mean, but I'm honestly robbing this person, these people, because it doesn't just it happens a lot where I'll feel like people they don't care about, I'm not going to be repeating myself multiple times. And maybe that's not a bad thing. Like, maybe, but I don't even say it the first time. So, once you show me something, I usually just act accordingly. And I really think I should probably give people a chance to, be the way that I need them to be as far as interacting with me, because you really can't just interact with everybody always just the same, you know what I mean? So I should give them the opportunity, but I don't know. It's scary, because what if they don't care? You know what I mean? Like, what if they're, and then see, here's the other thing that irritates me with that, is where if you do tell somebody and they're like, let's say, and this has happened where I've told somebody, man, when you do this, it makes me feel this. And yes, I know no one can make you feel the way, any type of way. Like, I get it. I'm responsible for how I feel, etc. So I know you got to use different language, but I don't feel like doing all that right now. Y'all know what I mean. So when you do this, it makes me feel this way. And then somebody be like, no, you don't. How you gonna tell me how I feel? That, oh man, listen. I've had those types of conversations with people where I've been on the other side of that, where people have said that something I did that was not my intention at all made them feel a way that I didn't intend for them to feel. And what I really try to do, I'm not going to say I always do this, because there's probably somebody that could say I didn't. But what I really try hard to do is say, I'm sorry you feel that way. That wasn't my intention. Simply because I cannot tell you that you don't feel how you feel. Invalidating someone's feelings, or me feeling like you're invalidating my feelings. Okay, really, that's my biggest pet peeve, like, ever in the history of ever. And I could say that, like, for real. Because even when I see that done to other people, it makes me so mad. Like, how dare you? How dare you not treasure or care or have compassion? How dare you? And then how dare you try to tell somebody how they feel? Ooh, child, man, that, I'm having flashbacks, because I'm thinking of people this happened with, it made me so mad. I mean, I didn't cut people off. Like, I'm not talking to you because obviously our relationship is unhealthy. Hold on a second. Gotta take drinks. But anyways, that irritates me. And I think because I've had that, and I've had that a lot, and really I've had like trash relationships, and I'm not talking about boyfriends or whatever, because I've been single for 12 years. I'm talking about even just friendships where, I don't know, people just, is it more important to be right or honor the relationship? I'm gonna always come back to that, because that's important to remember. Like, if it's more important for you to be right than to honor the relationship, you might need to reevaluate some things, because you have to consider the other person's feelings. Like, sometimes my kids, when we have conversations, the way they interpret our interactions are like, where did you get that from? You know what I mean? But how I'm going to tell them, I didn't make you feel that way. Well, clearly they just told me I did. So is it more important for me to be right, or is it more important for my kids to know that I love them and that they can talk to me about that stuff? Because just because I'm their mom, it doesn't mean they don't have their own feelings or their own thoughts or their own, perceptions, or the three of them could all go through the same interaction with me and take away a different perspective on how it happened, because that's just how life is. So it's like, what's more important? And I feel like a lot of times we lose sight of that, and I've had a lot of that, and I think, maybe that's why I struggle, because I don't know. I'm just really thinking I shouldn't be as guarded as I am, and I shouldn't be as fearful. Like, vulnerability should not physically make me nauseous. Like, no lie, almost every time I say the word and think about what that entails, there's just this feeling that I get in my stomach, and I didn't really realize that was so weird until I was talking to, after this exercise we did, this little group thing at my job, and the supervisor and I had more conversation about it, and she said, how did she say? She was like, I don't usually hear females say that. I usually hear dudes say that. And I was like, oh, so I'm a man? And obviously she didn't mean it like that. But that's not healthy. So I'm on this journey of growth, and for whatever reason, y'all want to be on it with me because you tuning in. But I hope that by me, it's so easy to be vulnerable in this capacity, because really I'm by myself, truthfully talking to myself, and I'm not having to look somebody in the eye, or I'm not having to have dialogue with somebody. It's just this whole monologue of me saying whatever I want to say and then putting it out there. So that's easy. I don't know that I would be able to do this. Like, you see, this isn't even a video podcast. It's an audio. You can't even see me. I don't know that I would be able to. I don't know. I don't know that I'd be able to do this looking into a camera, let alone. I don't know. Hopefully I grow, though. Hopefully as this continues, the conversation changes a little bit. Hopefully, me being transparent, that's where I was going, and sharing my struggles is encouraging to you, so you're not the only one. If you can relate to any of, because I was kind of all over the place, but this is my gift to y'all. Merry Christmas and all that good stuff. A little longer episode, because I usually try to keep them I don't know, more focused. But hopefully, hopefully it encourages you, knowing you're not the only one. Because, I don't know, people have this interesting perception about me. And I know me, and I know the struggles I have, and I know what I walk through, and I know my mindsets or whatever. And so then when I hear people's view of me, sometimes it's really interesting, because that's not how I feel. And so I just want to be more, because then I feel like when I display, I guess, characteristics, or when I talk about struggles with certain people in a way that doesn't fit their, I guess, ideal version of me, they're kind of, I don't know, shocked. Or I just feel like sometimes, and this happened a lot with walking through grief after the girl's dad was killed, but I just feel like in some ways I almost felt like I couldn't be human, because people had this ideal of who they thought I was, because I post encouraging things on Facebook or, whatever. And I just feel like I want to shatter that. You know what I mean? Like, I struggle just like everybody else. And I am terrified and I'm fearful and I, like, look, vulnerability. I can't even tell somebody that I need you to actually listen to me when I talk so that I can get out. Like, don't interrupt me. When people interrupt me, that basically the message I get from that is you don't care about what I'm talking about, so ultimately you don't care about how I feel. That is literally how I interpret when people cut me off. You know, is that healthy? I don't know, but that's just where I'm at right now. So I'm kind of wanting to. That's what I hope this does, but I also hope it encourages you, because I'm sharing all this, but I'm sharing it from a point of, hey, this is what I'm trying to work on. Because honestly, we're all in process. None of us have arrived. I don't care who you see on social media, the social media influencers and all that stuff, and what they're doing, and your pastor, motivational speaker, I don't know, celebrities, whatever. We're all in process. We all have struggles. It looks different the way we all cope with it. But as long as you're breathing, you haven't arrived anywhere, because we're always going to be continuously evolving and changing, because that's what, life does to you. Like, this podcast came about really because, high key, I probably need to be seeing a counselor or something every week, but I don't got time for that right now with the way my work schedule. And it's like, the beautiful thing about when the girl's dad first died is that I worked at a job that was a lot more flexible, so I had more time to kind of like take care of me. But I'm at a point in life where, kind of like when my uncle passed, and like other things have happened since then in between, but that just really triggered a lot of stuff, because it triggered a lot of stuff with my bio dad that stuff I didn't realize was there. So it's like, I don't have the flexibility that I had. So that's, I'm in process, and this, but you know what? The funny thing, and I saw this on a meme, and I was high key, I felt attacked. It was like, what did it say? Because my degree is in psychology. And this meme I saw, it said, I'm gonna just like summarize it. Something to the effect of, how does somebody who's a psychology major get depressed? You better go read your study notes or something like that. So it's like, I have a lot of knowledge, and I remember being in school having to do different assignments that really caused me to dig in or whatever, and I still have a lot of my different books and whatnot, but this is, my way of, I don't know, this is just where I'm at. So I hope, though, by me doing all this, it's encouraging to somebody. I hope, though, my challenge for the week, let's go ahead and get to it, because I'm going to always have a challenge, just because I'm challenging myself, really. Like, honestly, after I record this, and then I go throughout my week, one thing I'm not going to do is be somebody who's saying something that I'm not really about or trying to be about, because obviously I'm not going to get it 100% perfect. So, like, something will happen, and my words will come back to me, and it's like, okay, I got to make sure I do whatever. So I'm challenging us. This is not me challenging you because I feel like I have it all figured out. This is me challenging us to grow together. Excuse me. Gotta take another drink. The only thing about talking nonstop, my throat gets dried in a mug. I don't know if it's because it's winter, or shoot, it feel like winter. But I don't know if it's because it's getting colder, I might be fighting sickness because sickness is going around my office, which is just gross. But that's a whole different whatever. My challenge, I got a couple challenges. Challenge number 1, know thyself, and do not let the opinions of others influence your view of yourself. When people try to put labels on you, you do not have to accept that as who you are if you know that it's not you. But you got to know yourself to know that. So it's important to be self-aware. That's challenge number 1. Know yourself. Spend some time alone and think, reflect, journal, or talk to yourself, or pray, or I don't know, go to counseling, do whatever you got to do, group therapy, support groups, whatever you got to do to know yourself. That's challenge number 1. Challenge number 2 is, if there's an area that you know that is hindering you from having more authentic or more just, I don't know, genuine relationships, I guess, because based off then try to act in a way opposite of how you feel. I'm really trying to, be a little bit more transparent with people about things, and it's hard and it's uncomfortable, so sometimes it gets wrapped in humor, but I'm hoping that I'll get to the point where it'll just feel more comfortable. But I think I have to actually do it so that it doesn't feel, I gotta work that muscle. Kind of like working out. When you first start working out, it's harder. You might can't breathe or, whatever. But then the more you do it, the more, the easier it gets. And then you just got to keep challenging yourself. And that's kind of where I'm at, just really challenging myself to go deeper in relationships. So those are my challenges. Know yourself, but also challenge yourself to step out of your comfort zone a little bit with wisdom. Don't do it with just anybody. Do it with people that are relatively safe or whatever. I'm not saying be foolish, but I'm saying be you. Be true to who you are. And give people the gift of you, your presence, who you fully are. Give them the gift, because the right people are going to love and care about you and cherish you for who you are, and you don't have to hold back. So that's the challenges. That's what I'm trying to grow in. I hope y'all have a great rest of your holiday weekend. Until next time.